Welcome to Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories. Novelists Mary Kay Andrews, Kristin Harmel, Kristy Woodson Harvey, and Patti Callahan Henry are 4 longtime friends with more than 70 published books between them. Together, they host Friends and Fiction, with author interviews and fascinating insider talk about publishing and writing, to highlight and support independent bookstores. They discuss the books they've written, the books they're reading now, and the art of storytelling. If you love books and you're curious about the writing world, you're in the right place.
Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday night. It's wedding night. And it's time for Friends and Fiction. It is the happiest night of the week, especially this week. And we are so happy to be here with you to celebrate the launch of our own Kristy Woodson Harvey's The Wedding Veil. I am Patti Callahan Henry.
And I am Mary Kay Andrews, dressed up as a circus elephant.
I am Kristin Harmel.
Virginal, like a virgin.
I'm the virginal Kristin Harmel, yes.
I am Kristy Woodson Harvey, and I painstakingly picked these headpieces for my friends, and I feel as though they're being a little bit ungrateful.
I'm so grateful.
How could we not be so grateful for them?
So grateful. And you picked so according to our personalities.
You all look beautiful.
All right. And this is Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors willing to make a fool of themselves for a friend. Endless stories to support indie bookstores, authors, and librarians. We are so thrilled that you are with us tonight.
So, you guys, coffee. I don't know about you. Well, I know some of us start the mornings off with a cup of coffee. I'm not human without my first cup. So I'm thrilled that one of our presenting sponsors is Charleston Coffee Roasters. Charleston Coffee Roasters painstakingly searches the world over for the highest quality coffee beans. They bring them home to Charleston, South Carolina, where slow roasting coaxes out their unique flavor. Along with their promise of great coffees, Charleston Coffee Roasters also pledges to help our planet and local communities. And that's something that's really important to us here on Friends and Fiction. Visit their website, charlestoncoffeeroasters.com, and use the code COFFEEWITHFRIENDS, with no spaces, Coffee with Friends, all lowercase, to get 20% off on all bagged coffees.
Another one of our sponsors, whom we love for their devotion to being literary matchmakers. Get it? Wedding matchmakers. See what I did there? Is Page One Book, an indie bookstore with the delight and surprise of an online subscription service curated just for you. The literary matchmakers at Page One Books hand select books just for you, based on your preferences, and their knowledge. Shop now at pageonebooks.com. That's page, the numeral 1, books.com. Choose their 3, 6, or 12-month subscription plan. The gift of Page One is always a custom fit. And now you can get 15% off all book subscriptions with code all cap FRIENDS, plural, 15.
You being so serious about that and that headdress is just
Everything.
Everything. Can you wear this in all future episodes, please? Could that be arranged?
She's not laughing.
Wait until you see what I inflict on all of y'all on my book launch episode. So,
will you be launching your book in Vegas? No.
Circus Vegas Circus.
I tried to pick things that you guys would wear again.
Just like a bridesmaid's dress.
Yeah, we're going out for pizza in Avondale right after this.
I think I'm going to go take a bike ride around the block in this and see what the neighbors say.
Well, you guys know all about our spring subscription box with Oxford Exchange, right? So you might have heard, if I have not been obnoxious about it yet, then I have not done my job. But my new book released yesterday, The Wedding Veil, and Mary Kay's The Homewreckers will be out May 3rd. So, of course, they're available wherever books are sold. But if you want a hand-signed first edition of both books, plus a Friends and Fiction gift, it's a little sticky flag notebook, you can order the spring box from our friends at independent bookstore Oxford Exchange. You'll receive a beautiful delivery of both books, each of them signed, as soon as they're released. And if you haven't read Kristin and Patti's 2021 book, Surviving Savannah and the Forest of Vanishing Stars yet, Patti's paperback is out next week and Kristin's is out in May. So much to celebrate.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're so excited. So many of you have been participating in our very first Friends and Fiction reading challenge. This month, the month of March, we're encouraging you to read a book about a female historical figure. And if you're looking for a way to keep track of those books and all the books you're reading, we'd love to recommend this beautiful reading journal designed by us in conjunction with independent bookstore Oxford Exchange. I also wanted to point out that the pages are not dated. I know we talk about this a lot in conjunction with our reading challenge, but you could pick this up at any time. You could use it for years to come. It's all blank for you to fill in. So it's really flexible. Anytime you want to keep track of your books, we cannot imagine a better pick for this month's reading challenge than The Wedding Veil, which features two real historical women, Edith and Cornelia Vanderbilt. This is a great time to begin that book and record it in here.
Yeah. That's a goal. Everybody has The Wedding Veil in their reading journal.
Exactly.
I like that.
Before we officially get this party started.
Yeah.
Christy, can you tell everyone a little bit about your tour and all the amazing things you have coming up?
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So we're actually pre-taping this episode. So I just want to let everybody know that that's why I'm home in this episode. But actually in real life, I am out and about in the world. So I don't know how many tour stops, like 20 something, 30. I don't know. It's like a 3-week tour. So I'm going to be on the road for a little while, mostly in the Southeast. And I would absolutely love to see you guys. So if you haven't checked out my tour schedule, please do. And please come see me. It's the most fun to get to meet you guys in real life, especially after we're communicating online so much. And then you can join all of us on May 4th with our buddy on at Cuyahoga County Library in Ohio. We're all going to be there doing a super fun Friends of Fiction event to celebrate Mary Kay's launch and Kristin's paperback launch. So it's going to be great.
It's going to be so much fun. And before the party really begins and we don our wedding veils, I want to remind you that, as you know, we continue to encourage you to support independent booksellers when and where you can. And one way to do that is to visit our Friends and Fiction bookshop.org page, where you can find books by the four of us and our past guests, including really the only book you're going to want to buy this week, which is Kristy's The Wedding Veil, at a discount, you guys. Discounts. Love it.
Okay. We have all had the opportunity to read The Wedding Veil. And since it's only been out for one day, I'm going to assume that some, maybe only a small fraction, but some people haven't read it yet. So can you please tell our faithful viewers a little bit about The Wedding Veil?
Yes, I can. I'm so excited to. The book is not based on this lovely and charming wedding veil that I am wearing, but a real life historical wedding veil worn by Edith and Cornelia Vanderbilt. And the story actually opens around 1914, when George Vanderbilt has just passed away, leaving his young widow, Edith, and his daughter, Cornelia, behind to try to not only maintain the largest home in America, Biltmore Estate, but also to preserve his legacy. And that's all going really well until the two women have some different ideas about what the future is going to look like. And it causes some problems for them that you'll read about in the book. So that is the historical part. And then in the contemporary story, I have a grandmother and granddaughter, Babs and Julia. And Babs is placing her sort of faded family wedding veil on her granddaughter Julia's head when Julia realizes that her marriage is not going to last, and she is going to be the one to sully the name of the famous lucky family wedding veil. And so she gets the heck out of there with her grandmother. and heads off on her honeymoon and alone to find out, what the next chapter of her life holds. And at the same time, Babs has just lost her husband of over 60 years and is trying to make a fresh start for herself. And so she moves somewhere new and happens to run into a man from her past. So the kind of interesting thing about this story is that all of these women find themselves at these really big crossroads, and they're in different generations. They're making very different decisions, but they all have an extreme amount of outside pressure on them that is influencing their decisions. And there is, of course, a beautiful heirloom wedding veil at the center of the story.
Gosh, I've read it, I know about it, but you're describing it and I got those chills on my arm,
So good.
I don't think I'm good at describing it yet. I need to work on that a little bit.
Oh, that was great.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of story happening in there.
There's a lot of threads that you have to pull through, and you described all of them. It was great. Okay, tonight, along with this party we're about to get started, we're going to be playing book bingo. If you haven't gotten your book bingo card yet, visit KristyWoodsonHarvey.com, all one word, /blog to grab your bingo card, or it will be on a pinned post on our Friends in Fiction Facebook page. So listen out for any of us to say any of the words on the card. And when you have bingo, call it in the comments. Meg will be picking 5 winners to receive a copy of The Wedding Veil.
Now, you can't launch a book called The Wedding Veil without a bachelorette party, right?
Nope.
Okay. And we have male strippers coming. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
That's why I'm here. That's why I showed up. What about you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
The Chippendales will be here
Momentarily.
Soon-ish.
Okay, so get us started. We're going to play everybody's favorite bachelorette party game. Would you rather? Wedding veil style. And we encourage you to play at home and put your answers in our comments below. Meg will be choosing one winner playing along at home to win all 4 novels in Christie's New York Times best-selling Peachtree Bluff series.
It's going to be busy.
And I know because, we need a little male interest tonight. We thought we'd bring a couple of special guests on to play with us. So welcome our rock star writer's block librarian, Ron Block. Are you there, Ron? Oh, there's the Reverend Ron.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to marry readers with this fabulous book, The Wedding Veil.
Also tonight.
And he's a real reverend, so he can do that.
Yes, I am.
That was legit.
Yeah. Now you're all legally bound to buy it. We're sorry.
That's right.
So
We tricked you.
Yeah.
We forgot to tell you this is literally a commitment ceremony. You're all committed to buy the wedding veil. Okay,
But you'll thank us for it later. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can thank us later. Also tonight joining us is our managing guru who tries to keep the trains on the Hot Mess Express, and that's Meg Walker. Meg, are you there? There's our blushing bride.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
My veil is attached to my head by paper clips, so let's just hope it stays.
Well,
I mean, Hot Mess Express just completely personified that your veil is attached with paper clips.
yeah.
This is astounding. Okay, I get to go first.
We've got to bring on Shaun.
Where's Shaun?
Our fearless
Fun.
pet guru, cabana boy.
Guru, party boy.
Party boy.
No! What's good?
He's the guy at the wedding.
Keep them coming.
Drunk guy at the wedding.
Dip your bartender big, Shaun.
The Reverend
Videoing.
Yeah, he's the bartender that forgot he was being paid to bartend.
Oh my gosh, Shaun. Anyway, there's no party without you. Okay.
That's right.
I was so anxious to go first. I did that. All right, me first. Would you rather have a video of your fiance in a compromising position leaked on the World Wide Web, where your family would never see it, or only to your family where the rest of the world would never see it? I'm going to say just my family. What do you say, MCA?
Yeah, just my family.
Oh, same here. Just my family, because they won't care.
Yeah.
Okay, my answer is different. The world, because I feel like my family would get me and understand why the wedding was off, but like people who don't know me as well might not. So this would, it's my proof.
Let them know.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Good rationale.
Spoiler alert, she's canceled the wedding.
It's over.
This veil is coming off. Exactly.
But I still get my tip, right? I still get my tip.
You still get your tip.
I think the same. I think I would rather have, and because then, like, what if there's like something that maybe it looks different than it really is, or then you have to explain all that to your family. I don't know. I think I would rather just like the internet random people know and not my family.
Got it.
What about you, Shaun?
I'm the same. It's 2022. Who hasn't had their sex tape leaked? Everyone has one. It's all out there. No one cares. I just don't want my family to know about it. That's all.
I'm going family because my family's so small. It would just be my mom and my brother, and we've kept each other's secrets for a really long time.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
Now that's a good point, because like I have a big family, and like, so I think that is
Part of the reason.
Yeah, not that they wouldn't keep my secrets, but just it's like the mortification of like everyone knowing you're.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
All right.
Okay, I'm next. Would you rather go on your honeymoon alone or have your fiance go with someone else?
Oh.
I am going on that trip. He can beat it.
Yeah, I'm going on that trip. We had a neighbor whose his fiance stood him up at the altar, and the wedding trip was the honeymoon was booked, so he took his best buddy on the honeymoon with him.
Awesome.
So I would go alone and read a lot of books, and then I would really totally trash him online.
Yep.
Yes.
Agreed.
I'd
That's
get
what I
busy.
said.
I'd get busy.
I would be Instagramming every little piece of that trip, and I would go on that trip and it'd be all over the place.
Yeah.
Come up with creative hashtags.
Right.
Ditto. I'd go on the trip. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I would be Instagramming like with my like new fake boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah. Major revenge honeymoon.
I would go on that trip and I would take pictures. And that hilarious Dirk Benson song, Getting Drunk on a Plane?
Getting drunk on a plane. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like party boy Shaun is.
Okay, well, let's go ahead, Shaun. What would you do?
I'm getting drunk on that trip and on the plane,
There you go.
on the plane back, and I'm not going to stop getting drunk the whole time.
We're going to start at the reception. That didn't happen.
Yep. Keep it right going. Keep the party going. Okay. I have a question. Would you rather someone else wear a white dress to your wedding or someone else get proposed to at your wedding? Both have happened. I would think I would rather somebody else wear a white dress so I could shame them.
I think it would be sweet if somebody else got proposed to at my wedding. I mean, I would think to myself, well, they see how happy we are and they want to be that happy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know.
Yeah, my answer's the same. I think it would be nice to be a part of that person's memory. You know what I mean? That person's special. I mean, it's a little weird to propose at someone else's wedding, but whatever. As long as it's not while I'm saying my vows.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Y'all are such good people. I would be like, I cannot believe that you just got engaged on my day. My one day.
The one day that's all about me.
Yeah, come on. Although, I don't know, the white dress is pretty bad too, though. I think the proposal is worse, though. I would rather have someone wear the white dress. I like really had to go deep on that one.
I think I would choose the white dress that somebody accidentally spilled something on.
Red wine.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think either of those two are scandalous to me, so I would up the stakes. I want a live childbirth at my wedding during the bride. I want it.
You want the bride to have the baby at the wedding?
That'd be a little awkward, yeah, but sure.
And messy, really messy.
As long as it's saying I do somewhere in between the contractions, I'm okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did you see what they just did? I do.
I think I'd rather have somebody wear a white dress because who cares what they wear? Because you're still going to be the center of attention, and your big gold gown and luxurious veil.
But the woman in the white dress should not be your mother-in-law. And I've heard of people that have had that happen.
Wow,
Yes,
that's where that came from. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've never heard of that. That's awful.
That's actually the start of my 2023 book. I don't know what year it is. Whatever my next book. Yes.
Okay, guys, I have a question. Would you rather everyone have a bodacious time at your wedding but get food poisoning? Or would you rather have a wedding where everyone leaves early?
This is a tough one.
These are so scandalous.
I think I don't want food poisoning. I'd rather be remembered for like a less terrible reason.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Live childbirth wife. That's why I want people to leave early.
Yeah, I have had food poisoning, and I would not wish that on. I've had it more than once. I had it once on book tour. So I would not wish that on anybody. So a dud wedding where everybody leaves early, and here's the thing: if they leave early, the bar bill is way less.
That's so true.
Silver lining.
Tell the DJ to go home. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are so nice. I want them all to get food poisoning. Think about all the years that they're going to talk about this. They're never going to forget the wedding. They have something to go back on.
Okay, but then taking the opposite point of view, I feel like that's all they'll remember about your wedding. Like, not that it was a beautiful exchange of vows, not that someone gave birth while you were saying I do, but they'll remember the food poisoning.
That's a good point.
See, what if though they had such a good time at your wedding that they all just think they have the worst hangover ever?
That's true.
Yeah, that's
true.
I'm gonna go food poisoning on that one then.
Okay, so I've actually had food poisoning, like MKA, and there's no way you think it's a hangover. Just no way. No, my, like you think it's death. You think for sure, oh, into your hands I commend my spirit kind of death. So I'm gonna pick a dud, and then I'm gonna go back and have a big party later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's going to come to your big party once you've had a dud wedding?
True.
It's like, ugh.
I'm going to bring Shaun in to DJ and bartend.
He'll be your
everybody's going to come.
What do they call it? Like your hype guy? Like, you know, when you hire like a D-list celeb to be like the hype guy at your. Not that Shaun is D-list.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
I've never heard of that.
Yes. Oh. You guys don't watch enough Bravo. I know Ron has heard.
Oh, I know all about this.
Thank you.
I don't even know what Bravo
now
is
here's
on.
a provocative question.
Well, I didn't get to answer.
Oh,
I am going with food poisoning because Patti, I don't know about your friends, but mine would be hungover so violently that they may confuse it with food poisoning. I drink quite a bit, and also I kind of think that maybe if everybody got food poisoning, might get a little money back from the wedding venue and then be able to do another party at which nobody got.
That's a good call.
Good point.
That's why she's our managing director.
I was going to say that's why she does what she does.
And we still get to keep the gifts.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, now here's my provocative question. Would you rather have all of your exes show up at your wedding or all your significant others' exes? Well, this is a largely rhetorical question for me because I believe all of my exes are dead. But
so you kill them when you're done with them.
She can write anything she
like the Black
wants.
Widow.
No one left to tell all of her dirty secrets.
I think my exes should all show up, and then I'll just say, look what you missed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would want all of my exes too, so I know exactly what I'm dealing with.
That's such a good point. You're right. That's right. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to go with that for the exact same reason. Plus, you know what? Like, some of them are crazy. Most of them are nice. I can deal with the crazy because I'll see it coming. And the nice, it'll just be nice to see them. I don't have any feelings anymore.
Yeah, no, I would go with mine too, just because exactly you know what you're getting. Even that like stray one that you're like, okay, they're like definitely gonna object or something like insane in the middle of it. But there's someone on that because you know what to expect when it's your significant other versus you don't know. So
Okay, I'm gonna swing the pendulum here and say his so they can all see how wonderful and how much he loves me. And that he's promising till death do us part, and they can just sit there and grind their little teeth.
I love that.
Fair.
I love it too.
That's nice.
Good one.
I was thinking only about my wife. Like, what would make her least uncomfortable? I think it would actually be.
We're
I
not thinking
think-
about ourselves.
Right? Because I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. If her exes came, I think she'd be more uncomfortable. So I'll say,
Okay.
I'm guessing her answer would be mine to show up.
Okay.
That's
That's
sweet.
very sensitive for party boy, Sean. That's
Yeah, you're
It is. Yeah.
The facade.
You're slipping. You're falling behind, party boy.
Flipping out of character, Sean.
I think we actually had some of Dave's exes at our wedding because I'm friends with several of them.
Oh,
But I would not want all of them anywhere near me. So I'm going to go with mine because there aren't that many of them and they're all very cool.
Okay.
okay. That's
I like
good.
that.
All right. So now my turn. Would you rather, and I can't believe I'm asking this question. Would you
You're
rather
the one who
fall?
gets this question. Yeah.
Would you rather fall while walking down the aisle or during your first dance? Well, we all know that when I fall, I break bones in my body. So I would prefer to do it as late in the wedding as possible. So I'm going to go with first dance.
Oh,
Hilarious.
And hopefully I go down in a fabulous way. Like, you know what I mean?
Hopefully he catches you. Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Good point. Yeah.
I think during the first dance, because he's gonna swoop down and pick me up and twirl me around
And
and
everyone will cheer.
Yes.
this is all in my fantasy life. That this
How
would
much
happen.
you got for you?
your
I'm gonna
fantasy
pay
life.
He'd
I'm-
probably say she's drunk.
Well,
this is when Paul Rudd sweeps you back up. when
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
down.
that's right. There you go. That's good. So I'm going to buck the trend a little bit. I'd rather do it while I'm walking down the aisle, so I can immediately get up, throw my hands up in the air, and be Mary Catherine Gallagher and go married, and then everybody will clear up and cheer and think it was on purpose.
Yeah,
Love it.
I like that.
Love it.
I think I'm gonna have to say first dance too. I mean, because I feel like when you're getting ready to walk down the aisle, you're so nervous already, like just with everyone watching you and whatever. That to fall then would be, I think it would be more embarrassing.
I'm definitely going to have to say the first dance, but my caveat is if I'm picking for someone else, I'm going to say walking down the aisle because I think it would just break up the tension. Like it would be, as long as I didn't break bones, but like you're all like, woo. And it just like, remember when Jennifer Lawrence fell walking up to get her Oscar?
Yeah,
Walking
yes,
up
yes.
there? But I prefer it wasn't me. So
Nice. Yeah, I would not be allowed to drink before the wedding. So shots after, I'm falling down on the dance floor. It's happening.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
and
to that.
also, Sean, you could pretend it was a dance move. The rest of
That's
us covered.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my answer is that I would definitely choose the dance because like you could play it off like you meant to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're a Southerner, you just pretend that you decided to gator, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Meg's going, what's a gator? I don't know that.
I don't know what that is either.
Is that a Southern thing?
You went to Florida. How do you not know gatoring?
I have no idea.
Oh my God, we'll post a video later. Of
I will
someone
send you a video. There was one that was like, it wasn't like
dancing.
there was one I saw recently of a kid at Disney World, like winning a Disney dance-off catering.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Good
All right.
Or we're gonna have to post a video to the page.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll post a video.
Definitely.
No, I have a friend who like still goes to the chiropractor from catering on the bar at her birthday party, like recently, like trying to like relive her. And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't do that anymore." And it was just bad. It was bad. She was fine that night. The next day it was like, "Oh, I've like permanently injured myself."
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been able to gator, but yes.
No.
I don't think I've ever tried, but I've seen.
Wait, I found a photo of it. I'm gonna. Yeah, is this what gatoring is? It's uploading. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
No.
Dirty dancing with the gator.
That's like a dirty dancing.
Yeah.
That is not it.
that's great. That's
not
great.
I love that.
Okay, I have a very, very important question for you guys. Would you rather have your wedding cake dropped before you cut it, or your wedding rings get lost?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this is a really hard question. I am actually going to say that I think I would rather my wedding rings get lost, because you could like borrow someone else's temporarily. But if that wedding cake gets dropped and I don't get cake at my wedding, like you can't fake that. You can't fake the cake. You can like fake your wedding rings and have them redone later.
That would be a great hashtag. Hashtag don't fake the cake.
Wait,
Yeah,
right
I
into
like
the
that.
week. That's it.
There you go.
What would
There you
you
go.
Ooh.
Riding tip of the week.
Don't fake the cake.
Hashtag. Drop the cake. Drop the cake.
Yeah.
You can always make another one later.
Yeah, I would say drop the cake and then send everybody out, or send someone out to get all the remaining cupcakes from Sprinkles Cupcakes and just, make do. Drop
If
the
you live in a small town, that is not an option.
No, that's true.
I would definitely drop the cake, because I would just pick it up and say, "Oh, look, it's a deconstructed wedding cake. It's a new thing."
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's second rule.
Hand out spoon to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that episode of Friends with the cheesecake.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I would definitely say the cake, as long as, am I allowed to give a caveat? As long as it was already a picture of it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Then you could drop it and like it could be kind of funny.
She doesn't
But I-
care.
That is my favorite part of the wedding. Like,
She can't eat gluten. She doesn't even care about the cake.
I don't care about the cake.
So like the feeding the cake and the drinking the champagne with the crossed arm. That's like my favorite part of the wedding.
I always get upset when I miss that part of the wedding accidentally. Like I went to get a drink or I was dancing and I missed the cake situation at a wedding. I hate that. But I'm not going to tell it now, but remind me later. And I will tell you the story of our wedding cake debacle at our wedding.
I can't wait.
Okay.
So I didn't do a real wedding. We did a courthouse thing. So I don't know what costs more, like a wedding cake, or our rings were like so cheap. Like I'd probably rather lose my rings. I imagine like a wedding cake costs $25,000. Is that accurate?
That was made out of
That's accurate.
But like, and that's a good point too, because if your ring is lost, like if it was expensive, it's probably insured. If it wasn't, you could probably replace it pretty cheaply.
Yeah.
Let's go one or the other, you know?
I'm cake all day, because the rings absolutely cost a lot more, Shaun.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Not mine. I got a Cracker Jack box.
Oh.
Ring pop.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Christy, we're now turning it back to you for some serious, or as serious as we know how to be. Wedding
Semi-serious.
veil
Serious
question.
could be in this.
Yeah, exactly.
So
All right.
we would love to ask you some questions. Kristin, could you start us off?
I absolutely could. So, Christy, we were all here together when you started writing The Wedding Veil, your first go at a historical novel. And we all know research into the real lives of famous historical figures can be daunting during the best of times, but especially daunting during a pandemic when everything is shut down. You don't have the same access to things, that you would when the world is normal. So can you tell us a little bit about the process of researching this book?
Yes, that's so true. And I honestly, if it weren't for you guys, I don't know that I would have even done it. I think I might have thought there's just no way this isn't going to work. And, I can't make this happen. So you guys were very encouraging. So thank you. And of course, I had imagined when I had the idea for this book and I had started, researching, and I was like, I'm going to be at Biltmore all the time. And I'm going to be I already had the libraries where I knew there were materials that I wanted to look at in real life and wanted to, letters I wanted to read and those types of things. So, it was definitely very, very different, but I was really lucky to have some incredible librarians. Ron knows all about that, who really helped me right off the bat. And I got myself a newspapers.com account. I think I've read every time in history that Edith Vanderbilt or Cornelia Vanderbilt have been mentioned in a newspaper. And I read every single book that I could get my hands on about the family and the house, and down to cookbooks and anything that I could find, I read. And it actually worked out really well because I wrote my first draft and then the world was starting to open back up just a little bit, enough that I was actually able to go and start making some of those trips and get, a lot of my research fact checked and find out, some of the fun, more little colorful tidbits that really helped enhance the story. But it actually wasn't all bad, because instead of just being totally overwhelmed and flooded with information from the beginning, I was really able to step back and read and figure out, this is the story I'm telling. These are the years of these women's lives that I'm focusing on, and then kind of hone in on it from there.
It's awesome. It was fun to watch you do it too.
Yeah,
it really
was. Yep.
Awesome. So in reading the book, Edith and Cornelia Vanderbilt are really brought to life, and they almost feel like three-dimensional in a way. But what were some of the surprising things that you learned about them along the way?
Oh my gosh, so many. They were such interesting characters and such interesting women. But I think one of the things that surprised me the most is just having a journalism school background and being taught, in researching, to always kind of rely on primary sources. I was so shocked at the number of newspaper articles that they weren't labeled as gossip columns. They weren't, they didn't stand out in any way, that just contained things that were absolutely untrue. And so that was a really interesting thing, for me to kind of learn, that it was just some of the things you couldn't really rely on. Although fortunately I was writing fiction. So sometimes I would be I don't think that's true, but that makes a great story. Let's work that in.
Let's put that in.
But they were just both fascinating women. I think for Edith, I was so surprised. She was just one of the most generous people. With someone with her upbringing, you wouldn't necessarily think, but she really lived a life of service, and it kind of made her the perfect fit for her husband, George. And I was really expecting to find a marriage of convenience for them. He had a lot of money and she had a family name, and they needed each other in very specific ways. But I really, by the time I was finished writing, I really think they had a really great love story, and that they were a really terrific match for each other. And Cornelia was just a character.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have written 27 books about her. I mean, talk about an eccentric heiress. She was just fascinating. But it was also really interesting to watch her life kind of turn, and to see the process of her becoming, she was so dedicated to Asheville in North Carolina, and this house and this town and the people in it. And then to watch the way that someone being in the spotlight and the way that she was made everything change. And so I won't say too much because I don't want to give too much away. But
yeah.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask about this, but every good book has an origin story. And this one for you unraveled over, wasn't it a few years that it unraveled? Yeah. So what was the initial inspiration for this amazing story?
Well, the initial inspiration came in 2018. We had evacuated Beaufort for a hurricane, and we were in Asheville, and we were at the Biltmore. And I'd been a lot of times in my life, and I had just never really thought about the people that much, I guess, which sounds kind of weird, but I just always thought about this amazing house, and I was never really thinking about the people that were in it. And I think it was on that trip that it really struck me that Edith was a really young widow. I mean, she was like she was in her like very early 40s and was left a lot of responsibility, you know, in a time when women couldn't even really vote. And she was not left in a really particularly great financial situation just because of the way the estate was set up. Cornelia got most of the inheritance, but not till she was 25, and she was only 13 when her father died. So Edith was left with she had a lot of hurdles to overcome, like a lot, like so many that I only wrote about some of them in the book because it was like just too much for one human to even bear to write in the story. And so, but I was just so interested in her, and I got home and I started reading everything I could about her. And I went and looked for a novel about her because I thought someone's written about this woman. Of course they have. And I couldn't really find one. And so I kept saying, someone should write a book about her. Someone should write a book about her. Never, ever thinking that it would be me. So probably about a year later, my cousin was getting married, and I wore a veil that had been in my husband's family when we got married. And a lot of women in his family and like family friends and just a lot of people had worn this veil. It was not this one, even though this one
Was it this one? Was it this
It could
one?
be. It could be.
It was Patty's. I didn't want to give it away.
I'm guessing it wasn't mine. Unless you got married in Vegas.
Although Kristin's is so sweet. It could have been hers. I love hers. But I was like putting this veil on her head, and I said, it's so cool that, you know, this veil connects us to all these women that we'll never know, and like some that aren't even here anymore. And she was like, oh, it really is. And we were both kind of like, that's a book. And so I was, you know, trying to come up with my next book idea or just deciding what I was going to write next, I guess, and kind of narrowing it down. And I felt that sort of spark for the story. And I didn't even know what the story was, but I called my agent and I was like, I'm going to write a book called The Wedding Veil. And it's going to be about about a family wedding veil that, you know, is like kind of lucky, and it like guarantees this like love and good luck until it doesn't, you know, like a story like that. And she was like, oh, I love that book. I love that idea. And she just offhandedly said, well, what if you wrote about a real historical wedding veil? And I was like, okay, yeah, but thinking I'm definitely not going to do that because that's not what I write. But I was up one night and I got on Google, and I just happened to Google Edith Vanderbilt wedding veil. And a story popped up about a family veil worn by Edith's mother and her sisters. And then Edith wore it, her daughter Cornelia wore it, and then it disappeared. And I thought, I haven't done a veil. And what if I could make it up? And so I just knew then that was the story. But it is interesting how it kind of comes to you, you know, in little bits and pieces. And it was the story I was never going to write. And then something about it just really struck me. And here we are.
That's awesome.
Nice. I have a question for you. I know creative ideas evolve and morph over time. Can you ever see going back to your initial idea for the novel in a different way?
Yeah, you know, the way that I had kind of thought about it originally was like these 3 women from these 3 different generations in the same family that were these protagonists. And then there were going to be 5 other women. I don't know why 5, but they were going to have these little vignettes in the story that sort of tied, you know, the larger plot together, which I still think is an interesting idea. And is something that like I might kind of want to explore structurally with something different. I mean, probably not another wedding veil, but maybe, I don't know, the wedding pearls. Maybe it could be like a series.
The top hat.
The wedding top hat.
I have it. The wedding Spanx.
Definitely don't pass those down.
The wedding garter belt. There you go.
Okay. On the contemporary side of things, you created a truly lovable pair in the characters Babs and her granddaughter Julia, which really speaks to me because I was super close to my grandmother and she played a huge role in my wedding planning and the wedding itself. So can you tell us why you chose to spotlight a grandmother and granddaughter duo?
Yeah, well, I'm super close with my grandmother. I always have been. I grew up like less than a mile from my grandparents. And so I was with them a lot and, you know, I saw them all the time. And I just have always had a really close family. And I just love grandmother-granddaughter relationships. I mean, I just think they're really special. And there's something about that wisdom being passed down from generation to generation. But in this story in particular, I wish I could say that I did this on purpose, but I didn't. But I think what ended up being kind of interesting about this grandmother-granddaughter relationship is that Babs is 81 and Cornelia and Julia is 26, and they're both still at a stage in their life where they have a big decision to make. And there are a lot of people who are not happy about their decision. And they have to decide, are they going to stay the course or are they going to do something different? And so I think in a lot of ways, like these two characters in their different stages, at their different ages, in these different times in their life, end up really bolstering each other to like live their truth and live their next best chapter. And I think that Julia equally does that for Babs, as Babs does for Julia.
That's so sweet.
Nice.
Well, speaking of Babs, in the opening of the veil, Babs is placing the faded family wedding veil on Julia's head when she realizes she can't marry her fiance, and that if she does, she will be the one to sully the good look of the family veil. Babs drives the getaway car.
I love that.
Love it.
Love that.
What do you think your grandmother would have done in a similar situation?
Totally would have driven the getaway car.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, she's very much like, big on, your commitment and your vows and all of that. But if it was before that wedding, and in fact, my mom has 3 sisters, and every single one of them remember this moment where like my grandfather looked at them and was like, "Are you sure? Because if you're not, we can leave right now."
Wow.
Because I mean,
Nice.
gosh, they were married. My grandfather passed away like 2 years ago, but they were married for like almost 65 years. So, and together or I guess maybe they were together for 65 years. I don't know. It was a very, very long time. And so, you think about, they really took that commitment extremely seriously. And, I think Babs says something like, Julia says something like, "My mother's going to kill me." And Babs says, "Well, better a bad day than a bad rest of your life." And that really sounds like something my grandmother would have said. Like, better a bad day than a bad rest of your life.
I
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, y'all. We're going to take a moment to share some of our wedding photos from all of us, from the 7 of us. So we love celebrating love, and we can't thank you enough for playing along on all of this. But let's look at the wedding pictures.
Let's start with
Right,
mine.
Sean has like a lot of. There's Sean's. That's beautiful.
And
Wait,
Sean.
that's wrong. That's wrong.
What a great couple.
Ron and Jeff.
Ron and Jeff. See, the cake. What would they have done if they didn't have a cake? I'm telling you.
It was a great
Hey,
cake.
that-
It was a great
Christy,
cake.
there's your real wedding veil, Christy. That's it,
Oh,
right?
there's my real wedding veil. I should have shown a better shot of it. But anyway.
It's a beautiful picture, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sean.
Georgia O'Keeffe. That was the photos at Georgia O'Keeffe Gallery outside.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
beautiful.
Oh, wait. There we go. That's the
There's
one.
Meg and Dave.
Oh,
Meg.
Meg, your
you.
real wedding veil is almost as pretty as the one you're wearing.
almost.
so
Meg,
close.
where
So
did you get
close.
married? Was that in New Jersey?
yes, the Jersey Shore.
God.
The church was in Belmar, and the reception was in Spring Lake.
Don't you love
Oh, that's
looking at that?
beautiful.
It's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. Oh, Patti.
That's a hell of a veil. I just gotta say.
That's a hell of a train.
It has like a bird of paradise thing happening.
I like it. And the shoulder proof.
The shoulder
Definitely
proof.
shoulder pads. It was 1991. If you didn't have shoulder pads, what were you doing?
Yeah.
You were doing it wrong.
Yes.
Wrong.
Oh, it's
Oh.
beautiful. I love that.
Mr.
Yeah.
AKA.
That is like a whole wedding outfit that like you could wear today and be
Yes.
so beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
classic and gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's
that's beautiful,
Tom's
Kathy.
got the full ruffle tux too.
Yeah.
I
I'm just
love
happy.
it.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "I am not wearing a peach shirt, so don't ask."
But it is ruffled, so you got that going on.
Well,
I
it was
love it.
1976. What can I tell you?
It's awesome.
You look beautiful.
Tom's is not quite as hot.
Oh.
Here's me.
So
There's Kristen and Jason.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was only 8 years ago, so it hasn't been so long.
it's gorgeous.
Sorry.
Dirty Gator dancing. Dirty Gator dancing.
I've been drinking on the job. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, party boy.
Oh, party boy.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
Mary Kay, you want to lead us into our announcements here?
Yes, I do. I have to shift some stuff around. Okay. Besides reminding you to hashtag buy her book, damn it, meaning purchase your copy of The Wedding Veil this week, because those first week sales are monumental for a book's trajectory.
Matters a lot.
Yeah, we don't want to guilt trip you, but we are not above it.
Oh, I'm
Well,
not above it.
Also, you guys have already promised in this ceremony with Ron, so
That's
There is a
right.
commitment. You have made
I'm
a
afraid
commitment.
you're all committed to buying the wedding veil, and the books.
You know what can happen if you defy the promise you made. Just
Reverend
know.
Ron, I mean, he's got
A broken vow is way worse than a bad day.
I have connections. I've got connections.
Okay, I have to take this veil off. It's giving me a super bad headache. Wow.
Oh.
it's so funny.
We're gonna miss it.
Turns out the feather will just stay in my hair.
So if
I
we
thought we
were
were
Okay.
wearing that out for pizza later.
I was getting a rash, but she's dealing with it.
That's true.
So if we wore these wedding veils, you guys have to buy the book. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're good.
The sacrifice. The
Hey, what if we
sacrifice.
gave these veils away?
oh,
That's a good idea.
Ooh.
among the people who did the bingo, they can get a wedding veil.
I love that
Smells like
idea.
shit.
Yeah.
Then they have to pick which one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I,
know
think
you
we
were
all
gonna
know,
put
I think we all know whose veil will not be picked.
Oh, I don't know. That might be first.
I don't know. It might go first. I
That might
agree.
be the first
Yeah.
one in my book.
Yeah,
I would think.
Exactly.
It's pretty epic.
Okay.
I think I did you proud on that one. I'm just saying.
I'm pretty impressed. Yeah.
Best $7 ever spent.
Best $7. Yep.
All right, Reverend, you're up.
Okay. So just a quick reminder of our Writer's Block podcast. We'll always post link under the announcements every time a new one comes out, and a new episode launches every Friday. Last week, we had a really special Wedding Veil episode that you don't want to miss, with maybe a few little exclusive things in there that you won't get anywhere else. I don't know. And next week, we focus on the wonder that is Audible originals. If you've ever listened to one, you're going to want to listen to what goes into creating them. And we're going to have Martha Hall Kelly and her co-writer Kathy Murray about a true story and an Audible original they did called The Munich Cowboys Cheerleaders. And Patti and I will also be talking to the founder of Audible, Don Katz. You aren't going to want to miss that.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Dang.
Okay. Did you know that you can find some of our back episodes? So sometimes I meet people and I tell them about Friends in Fiction, or they're on the page, but they're like, oh, I didn't know about the show. How do I find the show?
Right.
So you can find it on our back episodes on YouTube, but we are also on a brand new streaming platform called Loco Plus, which also includes lots of brand new content from a lot of other independent creators. So you can go over there and watch back episodes, and you never know what you might find.
And if you're not hanging out with us yet in the Friends in Fiction official book club, you're missing out. The group, which is separate from us but is run by our friends Lisa Harrison and Brenda Gardner, is now more than 11,000 strong, you guys.
Wow. That's
With happy
amazing.
hours with our friend Ron and book club reads. You will want to join now and not miss any of the action.
We love them.
This was tonight the season finale of our first season of the 2022 season. Wait, that's 2 seasons. That's redundant.
That was redundant. That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody needs an editor. So bye winter season. Our spring and summer season are coming up, and they are chock full. We have so many great authors coming on the show, and it's going to be taking us 2 weeks to gear up and plan some huge surprises for you. I am not gearing up.
I'm gearing up.
No,
No.
I'm not gearing up. No. I'm taking some books and going to the pool. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Have to.
Well, I'm going to be in many, many cities. So you guys please come see me because I know you'll be missing us all so much. So you can come.
FOMO.
See us. Yeah. And so join us in 2 weeks on April 20th as we welcome Leanne Dolan with her newest Lost and Found in Paris. If you're ever wondering about our schedule, it is always on the Friends and Fiction website and on the header graphic on our Facebook page.
But wait, even though we are taking next week off, make sure you still tune in at 7 p.m. for a Friends and Fiction only video to celebrate the release of Patti's paperback of Surviving Savannah. So we knew we were going to be off next week, but we went ahead when we were in Savannah and recorded something special when we were all together. And we don't want you to miss it. It's a fun little celebration. And, I know it's going to be awful not to have this Wednesday night for 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to tune in and watch it because I know I'm going to be missing doing this. So we hope that you'll tune in with us.
And we can never say it enough. Thank you to our presenting sponsors, Charleston Coffee Roasters and Page One Books, for their generous support. And y'all out there, show our sponsors some love by following them on Facebook and Instagram and subscribing to their email newsletters. Remember to use code all lowercase Coffee with Friends for 20% off bagged coffee at Charleston Coffee Roasters, and code all caps Friends 15 for 15% off book subscriptions at Page One. Mm-hmm. So I have to say that this has been an incredible night. And Ron and Meg and Shaun, it is so fun to have you on screen with us.
Thank you for having us.
And I just have to say thank you guys so much for doing this and for coming on to celebrate and being so supportive. And to everybody in our Friends and Fiction community, you guys are amazing. And I know we all feel this way. We have these stories in our heads for like a year or two, and then they come out into the world and then they're yours and they get to be completely remade because of your experiences and the way that you feel about them and what you think about them. And most of all, when you hand them to a friend and say, you should read this. So we really appreciate you guys. You keep us going. We love you so much. And I just thank everybody in this Friends and Fiction family for all that you do. You guys are amazing. And we are, as Patti would say, we are the luckiest.
We are the luckiest.
Definitely.
Good night, y'all.
Cheers. Congratulations, Christy, to the wedding veil.
To the wedding veil.
To the wedding veil.
Thank you for tuning in. You can join us every week on Facebook or YouTube, where our live show airs on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram. We're so glad you're here.